Alrighty, let's get this going. Um, Welcome back to another thrilling installment of Storytime Saturdays. I'm your intrepid narrator, Fragath, and today we've got some more The Moon is a Harsh Mistress by Robert Heinlein. Ta-da! Which is actually the same cover as the copy of the book I have. My copy's kind of beat up and old, but them's the breaks. Yes, typically I am reading from a physical book. Um, there's something about the tactile feel. Except when I'm reading, from an e-document, as I do from anything that I get from Project Gutenberg. A lot of the short stories I do, if they're not from an actual short story collection, will be from a downloaded archive of Project Gutenberg stuff that I've gotten. Project Gutenberg. Highly recommend utilizing that particular resource, lest the media become lost. We don't want that. Unless we do. I don't think we do. I know I don't. Okay, so previously on The Moon is Harsh Mistress. What happened last time? Oh, yes, they went into the details of how they're building their secret catapult that they're going to use as a linchpin slash massive bargaining chip in uh, for when Earth Authority, Terran Authority, cracks down on their revolution. Because they know it's coming. They know that that's going to happen because the revolution is messing with Earth's bread and butter, specifically bread, but also butter. Food, in fact, is what the revolution will be messing with. And food is the thing Earth needs. They've got a population of like 10 point something billion at this point, and pretty much people are starving to death on the streets if they're not a wealthy corporate executive. Hmm. Now, why does that sound familiar? All right. So they went into the details of how they did that. I don't remember anything else particularly mind-blowing. Maybe something to do with Mike? Ugh. They're also setting up the various corporations and LLCs that they've got to kind of give authority the runaround and set up a as a front for Mike, the computer. That's pretty much what happened in the last chapter or so. This is gonna have to be another short one, I'm afraid, because my Saturdays are increasingly busy, which is not ideal. I'm not especially happy about it. No. Why do you ask? I prefer my Saturdays to be free, free like the wind. And they're not lately. So, all right. I guess let's get down to it. Chapter 10. Were changes in those 11 months. Wyo was baptized into Gregg's church. Prof's health became so shaky that he dropped teaching. Mike took up writing poetry. Yankees finished in cellar. Wouldn't have minded paying Prof if they had been nosed out, but from pennant to cellar in one season. I quit watching them on video. Prof's illness was phony. He was in perfect shape for age, exercising in hotel room 3 hours each day, and sleeping in 300 kilograms of lead pajamas. And so was I, and so was Wyo, who hated it. I don't think she ever cheated and spent night in comfort, though can't say for sure. I was not dossing with her. She had become a fixture in Davis family. Took her one day to go from Gospaja Davis to Gospaja Mum, One more to reach Mum, and now it might be Mimi Mum, with arm around Mum's waist. When Zebraphile showed she couldn't go back to Hong Kong, Sidris had taken Wyo into her beauty shop after hours, and done a job which left skin same dark shade, but would not scrub off. Sidris also did a hairdo on Wyo that left it black and looking as if unsuccessfully unkinked. Plus minor touches, opaque nail enamel, plastic inserts for cheeks and nostrils, and of course she wore her dark-eyed contact lenses. When Sidris got through, Wyo could have gone bundling without fretting about her disguise. Was a perfect colored with ancestry to match. Tamil, a touch of Angola, German. I called her Wyma rather than Wyo. She was gorgeous. When she undulated down a corridor, boys followed in swarms. She started to learn farming from Gregg, but Mom put stop to that. While she was big and smart and willing, our farm is mostly a male operation. Gregg and Hans were not only male members of our family distracted, she cost more farming man-hours than her industry equaled. So, Wyo went back to housework. Then Sidris took her into beauty shop as helper. Prof played ponies with two accounts, betting one by Mike's leading apprentice system, other by his own scientific system. By July 75, he admitted that he knew nothing about horses and went solely to Mike's system, increasing bets and spreading them among many bookies. His winnings paid parties' expenses while Mike built swindle that financed Catapult. But Prof lost interest in a sure thing and merely placed bets as Mike designated. He stopped reading pony journals. Sad. Something dies when an old horse player quits. Ludmila had a girl, which they say is lucky in a first, and which delighted me. Every family needs a girl baby. Wyo surprised our women by being expert in midwifery, and surprised them again that she knew nothing about baby care. Our two oldest sons found marriages at last, and Teddy, 13, was opted out. Gregg hired two lads from neighbor farms, and after 6 months of working and eating with us, both were opted in. Not rushing things. We had known them and their families for years. It restored balance we had lacked since Ludmila's opting, and put stop to snide remarks from mothers of bachelors who had not found marriages. Not that Mum wasn't capable of snubbing anyone she did not consider up to Davis standards. Wyo recruited Sidris. Sidris started own cell by recruiting her other assistant, and Bonton Butte shop became hotbed of subversion. We started using our smallest kids for deliveries and other jobs a child can do. They can stake out or trail a person through corridors better than an adult, and are not suspected. Sidris grabbed this notion and expanded it through women recruited in beauty parlor. Soon she had so many kids on tap that we could keep all of Alvarez's spies under surveillance. With Mike able to listen at any phone, and a child spotting it whenever a spy left home or place of work or wherever, with enough kids on call so that one could phone while another held down a new stakeout, we could keep a spy under tight observation and keep him from seeing anything we didn't want him to see. Shortly, we were getting reports spies phoned in without waiting for Zebraphile. It did a sod no good to phone from a tap room instead of home. With Baker Street irregulars on job, Mike was listening before he finished punching number. These kids located Alvarez's deputy spy boss in El City. We knew he had one because these finks did not report to Alvarez by phone, nor did it seem possible that Alvarez could have recruited them, as none of them worked in Complex, and Alvarez came inside Luna City only when an Earthside VIP was so important as to rate a bodyguard commanded by Alvarez in person. His deputy turned out to be two people: an old lag who ran a candy, news, and bookie counter in Old Dome, and his son, who was on civil service in Complex. Son carried the reports in, so Mike had not been able to hear them. We left them alone. But from then on, we had Fink field reports half a day sooner than Alvarez. This advantage, all due to kids as young as 5 or 6, saved lives of 7 comrades. All glory to Baker Street irregulars. Don't remember who named them, but think it was Mike. I was merely a Sherlock Holmes fan, whereas he really did think he was Sherlock Holmes's brother Mycroft. Nor would I swear he was not. Reality is a slippery notion. Kids did not call themselves that. They had their own play gangs with own names. Nor were they burdened with secrets which could endanger them. Sidris left it to mothers to explain why they were being asked to do these jobs, save that they were never to be told the reason. Kids will do anything mysterious and fun. Look how many of their games are based on outsmarting. Bon Ton Salon was a clearinghouse of gossip. Women get news faster than Daily Lunatic. I encouraged Wyo to report to Mike each night, not try to thin gossip down to what seemed significant, because was no telling what might be significant once Mike got through associating it with a million other facts. Beauty parlor was also a place to start rumors. Party had grown slowly at first, then rapidly as powers of three began to be felt, and also because peace dragoons were nastier than older bodyguard. As numbers increased, we shifted to high speed on agitprop. Black propaganda rumors, open subversion, provocateur activities, and sabotage. Finn Nielsen handled agitprop when it was simpler, as well as dangerous jobs of continuing to front for and put cover-up activity into older, spy-ridden underground. But now a large chunk of agitprop and related work was given to Sidris. Much involved distributing handbills and such. No subversive literature was ever in her shop. Nor our home, nor that hotel room. Distribution was done by kids, too young to read. Sidris was also working a full day, bending hair and such. About time she began to have too much to do, I happened one evening to make walkabout on Causeway, with Sidris on my arm, when I caught sight of a familiar face and figure. Skinny little girl, all angles, carrot red hair. She was possibly 12, that stage when a femme shoots up just before blossoming out into rounded softness. I knew her, but could not say why or when or where. I said, "Psst, doll baby, eyeball young femme ahead. Orange hair, no cushions." Sidris looked her over. "Darling, I knew you were eccentric, but she's still a boy." "Damp it! Who?" "Bog knows. Shall I sprag her?" Suddenly I remembered like video coming on, and wished Wyo were with me. But Wyo and I were never together in public. This skinny redhead had been at meeting where Shorty was killed. She sat on floor against wall down front and listened with wide-eyed seriousness and applauded fiercely. Then I had seen her at end. Then I had seen her at end in free trajectory, curled into ball in air, and had hit a yellow-jacketed knees, he whose jaw I broke a moment later. Wyo and I were alive and free because this kid moved fast in a crisis. "No, don't speak to her," I told Sidris, "but I want to keep her in sight. Wish we had one of your irregulars here. Damn." "Drop off and phone Wyo. You'll have one in 5 minutes," my wife said. I did. Then Sidris and I strolled, looking in shop windows and moving slowly, as Quarry was window shopping. In 7 or 8 minutes a small boy came toward us, stopped, and said,
Hello, Auntie Mabel. Hi, Uncle Joe.
Sidris took his hand. "Hi, Tony. How's your mother, dear?"
Just fine.
He added in a whisper.
I'm Jock.
"I'm Jock." "Sorry," Sidris said quietly to me. "Stay on her," and took Jock into a tuck shop. She came out and joined me. Jock followed her, licking a lollipop.
Bye, Auntie Mabel. Thanks.
He danced away, rotating, wound up by that little redhead, stood and stared into a display, solemnly sucking his sweet. Sidris and I went home. A report was waiting.
She went into Cradle Roll Creche and hasn't come out. Do we stay on it?
Oh. She went into Cradle Roll Creche and hasn't come out. Do we stay on it? A bit yet. I told Wyo, and asked if she remembered this kid. She did, but had no idea who she might be. You could ask Finn. Can do better. I called Mike. Yes, Cradle Roll Creche had a phone, and Mike would listen. Took him 20 minutes to pick up enough to give analysis. Many young voices, at such ages almost sexless. But presently he told me,
Man, I hear three voices that could match the age and physical type you described. However, two answer to names which I assume to be masculine. The third answers when anyone says Hazel, which an older female voice does repeatedly. She seems to be Hazel's boss.
Mike, look at old organization file. Check Hazel's.
4 Hazels, he answered at once. And here she is. Hazel Mead, Young Comrades Auxiliary, address Cradle Roll Creche, born 25 December 2063, mass 39 kilos, height.
That's our little jump jet. Thanks, Mike. Wyo, call off stakeout. Good job.
Mike, call Donna and pass the word, that's a dear.
I left it to girls to recruit Hazel Mead, and did not eyeball her until Sidris moved her into our household 2 weeks later. But Wyo volunteered a report before then. Policy was involved. Sidris had filled her cell but wanted Hazel Mead. Besides this irregularity, Sidris was doubtful about recruiting a child. Policy was adults only, 16 and up. I took it to Adam Celine and Executive Cell. As I see, I said, this cells of three system is to serve us, not bind us. See nothing wrong in Comrade Cecilia having an extra, nor any real danger to security.
I agree, said Prof, but I suggest that the extra number not be part of Cecilia's cell. She should not know the others. I mean, until the duties Cecilia gives her make it necessary. Nor do I think she should recruit at her age. The real question is her age.
Agreed, said Wyo. I want to talk about this kid's age.
Friends, Mike said diffidently.
Diffidently, first time in weeks. He was now that confident executive Adam Celine. He was now that confident executive Adam Celine, much more than Lonely Machine.
Perhaps I should have told you, but I have already granted similar variations. It did not seem to require discussion.
It doesn't, Mike, Prof reassured him. A chairman must use his own judgment. What is our largest cell?
5. It is a double cell, 3 and 2.
No harm done. Dear Wyo, does Sidris propose to make this child a full comrade? Let her know we are committed to revolution, with all the bloodshed, disorder, and possible disaster that entails.
That is exactly what she is requesting.
But, dear lady, while we are staking our lives, we are old enough to know it. For that, one should have an emotional grasp of death. Children seldom are able to realize that death will come to them personally. One might define adulthood as the age at which a person learns that he must die, and accepts his sentence undismayed.
Prof, I said, and those are mighty tall children. 7 to 2, some are in party.
No bet, Cobber. It'll give odds that at least half of them don't qualify, and we may find it out. The hard way at the end of this our. And we may find it out the hard way at the end of this our folly.
Prof, Wyo insisted, Mike, Manny, Sidris is certain this child is an adult, and I think so too.
Man, asked Mike. Let's find way for Prof to meet her and form own opinion. I was taken by her, especially her go to hell fighting, or would never have started it. We adjourned, and I heard no more. Hazel showed up at dinner shortly thereafter as Sidris's guest. She showed no sign of recognizing me, nor did I admit that I had ever seen her, but learned long after that she had recognized me, not just by left arm, but because I had been hatted and kissed by tall blonde from Hong Kong. Furthermore, Hazel had seen through Wyoming's disguise, recognized what Wyo never did successfully disguise, her voice. But Hazel used lip glue. If she ever assumed I was in conspiracy, she never showed it. Of course. That's a tad embarrassing. I just closed the book right on the bookmark. Uh, Give me a minute. Here we go. But Hazel used lip glue. If she ever assumed I was in conspiracy, she never showed it. Child's history explained her, far as background can explain steely character. Transported with parents as a baby, much as Wyo had been, she had lost father through accident while he was convict laborer, which her mother blamed on indifference of authority to safety of penal colonists. Her mother lasted till Hazel was 5. What she died from, Hazel did not know. She was then living in creche where we found her. Nor did she know why parents had been shipped. Possibly for subversion, if they were both under sentence, as Hazel thought. As may be, her mother left her a fierce hatred of authority and warden. Family that ran cradle roll let her stay. Hazel was pinning diapers and washing dishes as soon as she could reach. She had taught herself to read, and could print letters, but could not write. Her knowledge of math was only that ability to count money that children soak up through their skins. Was fuss over her leaving creche. Owner and husbands claimed Hazel owed several years' service. Hazel solved it by walking out, leaving her clothes and fewer belongings behind. Mom was angry enough to want family to start trouble, which could wind up in brawling she despised. But I told her privately that, as her cell leader, I did not want our family in the public eye, and hauled out cash and told her party would pay for clothes for Hazel. Mum refused money, called off a family meeting, took Hazel into town, and was extravagant, for Mum, in re-outfitting her. So we adopted Hazel. I understand that these days adopting a child involves red tape. In those days it was as simple as adopting a kitten. Was more fuss when Mum started to place Hazel in school, which fitted neither what Citrus had in mind nor what Hazel had been led to expect as a party member and comrade. Again I butted in and gave Mum, and Mum gave, and bleh. Again I butted in, and Mum gave in part way. Hazel was placed in a tutoring school close to Citrus's shop. That is, near Easement Lock 13. Beauty parlor was by it. Citrus had good business because close enough that... my God. When you miss certain participles... Citrus had good business because close enough that our water was piped in and used without limit as return line took it back for salvage. Hazel studied mornings and helped in afternoons, pinning on gowns, handing out towels, giving rinses, learning trade, and whatever else Citrus wanted. Whatever else was captain of Baker Street Irregulars. Hazel had handled younger kids all her short life. They liked her. She could wheedle them into anything. She understood what they said when an adult would find it gibberish. She was a perfect bridge between party and most junior auxiliary. She could make a game of chores we assigned and persuade them to play by rules she gave them, and never let them know it was adult serious, but child serious, which is another matter. For example, Let's say a little one, too young to read, is caught with a stack of subversive literature, which happened more than once. Here's how it would go after Hazel indoctrinated a kid. Adult.
Baby, where did you get this?
Baker Street Irregular.
I'm not a baby. I'm a big boy.
Adult.
Okay, big boy, where did you get this?
BSI.
Jackie gave it to me.
Adult.
Who is Jackie?
BSI.
Jackie?
Adult.
But what's his...
But what's his last name?
BSI.
Who?
Adult.
Jackie.
No. Shit. BSI.
Who?
Adult.
Jackie.
BSI. Scornfully.
Jackie's a girl.
Adult.
All right, where does she live?
BSI.
Who?
And so on around. To all questions, key answer was of pattern. Jackie gave it to me. Since Jackie didn't exist, he, or she, didn't have a last name, a home address, nor a fixed sex. Those children enjoyed making fools of adults once they learned how easy it was. At worst, literature was confiscated. Even a squad of peace dragoons thought twice before trying to arrest a small child. Yes, we were beginning to have squads of dragoons inside Luna City, but never less than a squad. Some had gone in singly and not come back. When Mike started writing poetry, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He wanted to publish it. Shows how thoroughly humanity had corrupted this innocent machine that he should wish to see his name in print. I said, Mike, for bog's sake, blown all circuits, or planning to give us away? Before he could sulk, Prof said,
Hold on, Manuel. I see possibilities. Mike, would it suit you to take a pen name?
That's how Simon Jester was born. Mike picked it apparently by tossing random numbers. But he used another name for serious verse, his party name, Adam Celine. Simon's verse was doggerel, bawdy, subversive, ranging from poking fun at Vips to savage attacks on Warden, System, Peace Dragoons, Thinks. You found it on walls of public water closets, WCs, sorry, or on scraps of paper left in tube capsules, or in tap rooms. Wherever they were signed Simon Jester, and with a matchstick drawing of a little horned devil with a big grin and a forked tail. Sometimes he was stabbing a fat man with a pitchfork. Sometimes just his face would appear, big grin and horns, until shortly even horns and grin meant Simon was here. Simon appeared all over Luna same day, and from then on never let up. Shortly he started receiving volunteer help. His verses and little pictures, so simple anybody could draw them, began appearing more places than we had planned. This wider coverage had to be from fellow travelers. Verses and cartoons started appearing inside Complex, which could not have been our work. We never recruited civil servants. Also, 3 days after initial appearance of a very rough limerick, one that implied that Warden's fatness derived from unsavory habits, this limerick popped up on pressure sticky labels with cartoon improved so that fat victim flinching from Simon's pitchfork was recognizably Mort the Wart. We didn't buy them, we didn't print them, but they appeared in El City and Novilen and Hong Kong, stuck almost everywhere. Public phones, stanchions in corridors, pressure locks, ramp railings, other. I had a sample count made, fed it to Mike. He reported that over 70,000 labels had been used in El City alone. I did not know of a printing plant in El City willing to risk such a job and equipped for it. Began to wonder if it might be another revolutionary cabal? Simon's verses were such a success that he branched out as a poltergeist, and neither warden nor security chief was allowed to miss it.
Dear Mort the Wart, ran one letter, do please be careful from midnight to 400 tomorrow. Love and kisses, Simon.
With horns and grin. In same mail, Alvarez received one reading,
Dear Pimplehead, if the warden breaks his leg tomorrow night, it will be your fault. Faithfully yours, conscience, Simon.
again with horns and smile. We didn't have anything planned. We just wanted Mort and Alvarez to lose sleep, which they did, plus bodyguard. All Mike did was to call Warden's private phone at intervals from midnight to 400, an unlisted number supposedly known only to his personal staff. By calling members of his personal staff simultaneously and connecting them to Mort, Mike not only created confusion, but got Warden angry at his assistants. He flatly refused to believe their denials. But was luck that Warden, goaded too far, ran down a ramp. Even a new chum does that only once. So he walked on air and sprained an ankle, close enough to a broken leg, and Alvarez was there when it happened. Those sleep losers were mostly just that. Like rumor that Authority Catapult had been mined and would be blown up another night. 90 plus 18 men can't search 100 kilometers of catapult in hours, especially when 90 are peace dragoons not used to pea suit work and hating it. This midnight came at New Earth with sun high. They were outside far longer than is healthy, managed to cook up their own accidents while almost cooking themselves, and showed nearest thing to mutiny in regiment's history. One accident was fatal. Did he fall, or was he pushed? A sergeant. Midnight alarums made peace dragoons on passport watch much taken by yawning and more bad-tempered, which produced more clashes with loonies and still greater resentment both ways. So Simon increased pressure. Adam Celine's verse was on a higher plane. Mike submitted it to Prof and accepted his literary judgment. Good, I think. Without resentment. Mike's scansion and rhyming were perfect, Mike being a computer with whole English language in his memory and able to search for a fitting word in microseconds. What was weak was self-criticism. That improved rapidly under Prof's stern editorship. Adam Celine's byline appeared first in dignified pages of Moonglow over a somber poem titled Home. Was dying thought of old transportee, his discovery as he is about to leave that Luna is his beloved home. Language was simple, rhyme scheme unforced. Only thing faintly subversive was conclusion on part of dying man that even many wardens he has endured was not too high a price.
What?
Let's try that sentence again. Language was simple, rhyme scheme unforced. Only thing faintly subversive was conclusion on part of dying man that even many wardens he has endured was not too high a price. Doubt if Moonglow's editors thought twice. Was good stuff. They published. Or rather, was good stuff. They published. Alvarez turned editorial office inside out trying to get a line back to Adam Celine. Issue had been on sale half a lunar before Alvarez noticed it, or had it called to his attention. We were fretted. We wanted that byline noticed. We were much pleased with way Alvarez oscillated when he did see it. Editors were unable to help Fink Boss. They told him truth. Poem had come in by mail. Did they have it? Yes, surely. Sorry, no envelope. They were never saved. After a long time, Alvarez left, flanked by 4 dragoons he had fetched along for his health. Hope he enjoyed studying that sheet of paper. It was a piece of Adam Celine's business stationery. Celine Associates, Luna City. Investments. Office of the Chairman Old Dome. And under that was typed Home by Adam Celine, etc. Any fingerprints were added after it left us. Had been typed on an Underwood office electrostator, commonest model in Luna. Even so, were not too many as our importado. A scientific detective could have identified machine. Would have found it in Luna City office of Lunar Authority. Machines, should say, as we found 6 of model in office, and used them in rotation. 5 words and move to next. Cost Wyo and self sleep, and too much risk, even though Mike listened at every phone, ready to warn. Never did it that way again. Alvarez was not a scientific detective. Oh, sugar. And with that, I am actually going to have to leave. That was a really short one, unfortunately. But I am busy, busy, busy. Much to my chagrin. Um, I do hope to do this again next week. We'll see what my schedule has in for me, I guess. I do try to do these every week, every Saturday. Oh, hi, Kazong. Sorry I didn't see you tune in earlier. Even though I'm just wrapping up now, I apologize. Um, I didn't get started till later than I wanted to, and I didn't have as much time, therefore, to do what I wanted, but I've got to scoot now. I do other streams throughout the week. I have a Mecha Monday stream where I do something giant robot related or mecha adjacent. I also do a Warframe Wednesday stream where I do some Warframe stuff for a while. And this was Storytime Saturdays, where I read short stories and indeed entire novels when the opportunity presents itself, such as now when I'm reading Robert Heinlein's The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Um, That'll about do it. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you are in the path of certain hurricanes, I hope you're safe and alive. And yeah, have a good one and enjoy your week. Bye.